Welcome to Archangel Revelations and Prophecies 444. I am Gad, your host. A viewer has requested an astral forecast for the year of 2018. We are now at the second week in August 2018. And as you know, you have that partial solar eclipse in the sign of Leo on Saturday, August the 11th, 2018 at 4:02 a.m. So you immediately want to look at that. Now, this is also a new moon, so you have a solar eclipse and a new moon. And this is going to be about endings and beginnings. And I did study on it. And some of it will actually about things from the past coming back in, and you may actually take things from the past to make a type of new beginning mixed in with things from the past. So that's very unique. And see, I always take it a little bit further. A lot of times when you're talking about retrograde planets and the retrogrades in the past, they're also talking about past life. And I do know for a fact some of the people that are around us are actually people we have relationship with from past life. And the more you wake up and become more intuitive, the more you can kind of feel it and see it. And sometimes if you look up at somebody, if somebody's just staring at you for some strange reason, it's because they got some type of feeling telling them something, one way or another. All right. So at that particular time, according to the space charts, transit charts, everything will be happening in the second house, because the first house becomes the ACEP, the East Point, the ascendant. But the unique thing is that was the 12th house until they made it into the first. So the universe will have you on two different time frames: 12th house past life, first house this life. So it's going to be some type of family concerns. 12th house Cancer. The Cancer rules the 4th house, so you're going to be dealing with the 4th house too. And then you see Libra in the 4th house. So this is going to be some type of relationship stuff going on. And you have Juno. Now I'm looking at the transit chart to the right, and to the left is the chart requested by the viewer. So definitely got Venus there, but see, Venus can also mean social issues, so can Libra. But this is culture, this is art, this is dance, this is relationships, this is business partnerships. And people have to understand what that means. You may see an old friend and just go out for some coffee. That's kind of like a partnership for that day. Generally, what I'm trying to teach people is, generally the universe is going to be right. What happens with humans, they tend to want to bicker and argue. Oh, that didn't happen, blah, blah, blah. And this is why they don't get to see. The universe is a lot like Christianity. Spirituality is based on faith. Like the more you believe and the more faith you have, the more you will see things happen. And for each person is different. And they think like guys like me are running, but we don't run. It's just that we don't waste our time on just what I call junk energy. And this is the first time I've said that word ever. Junk energy is just people that just want to be negative, want to be skeptical, they just want to go on and go on, and they wonder why their life is the way it is, because you're on junk energy. So I don't waste my time. I try my best to raise my vibrations to higher frequencies, and I've learned that. Because with me, you get older, and what happens is it's a life and death situation, especially if you have health problems. So the worst thing you can do is just sit there and be negative, even if it's negative. But if you sit there and keep professing it, it's like you're actually killing yourself. So if there really is a devil that goes around trying to devour people, that's one way he does it. You have to learn how to raise your frequencies. So again, raise your vibrations. So dealing with endings, I told you this is going to be about endings and beginnings, and that's what the 12th house is about. Ironically, in the first house, it's going to be relationship stuff, going to be family stuff, and even Venus is trying to stick her head out in that. So it's family stuff, relationship stuff. It might be some family get-togethers, legal stuff, family business matters or financial matters. Remember, the fourth house ruled by Cancer is teenage to adult education. And like I said, well, I work in retail, so you can see that all day long. Everybody's getting their back to school stuff. Teenage adult education, land and property and real estate. And again, I'm in a dispute right now because of things my neighbors are doing. So that's all getting land, property, legal matters. It can be friends, family, ancestors. It can be the heart. Be careful of your health. It can also deal with travel. And again, with Venus there, because I'm looking at the chart to the right in the fourth house, and you count by the ACAEP, that will be your first house and second, third, fourth. And again, because of the way it is, it will change a little bit. So again, any endings regarding the family. Remember, the mother is Imum Coeli. So where you see that moon, because the moon rules Cancer, and that represents like the mother or the feminine, and that's also inner or hidden. So somehow we'll be dealing with this, and this is why you see Neptune retrograde is in Pisces, but it's going to be working out through your dreams, and it's the ninth house. So again, if you say like twin flames relationships, sometimes they have to get that ninth house energy. That's your higher self house. You have to get that Sagittarius energy. It helps you grow up a little bit. And that's why your twin may be getting awakened and realize I really was an immature. This person really did try to talk to me, blah, blah, blah. And that's why sometimes you see some people and they're like totally different than what they used to be. Because sometimes you say that person will never change, but then you see that person and they're somewhat different. So now we look on the chart to the right. So it's all about family on August 11th, 2018. Remember, you have to go 7 days ahead of a eclipse, 7 days afterwards. Sometimes it's longer. Like I said, just have to believe. If you try to make this technical, you're just going to frustrate yourself. I think the more you make it technical, the harder it's going to come about. You just have to just let it happen. Like, be aware of it and then let it happen. And sometimes you can say your prayers and stuff. Because, or whatever you do. Some people might say meditate. But just be aware of it. Because sometimes things happen. Because like I said, I think I've gotten better now. Because I've been working with the Archangels, working with all of this. But I think before I had an attitude like, what is this now? But sometimes when you have that attitude, what is this now? It might be something good. And you've already made it bad by your attitude, how you're responding to it. So you have to let things take their toll, no matter what they are. Try to stay humble and work with spirit. And if you're really working with spirit, spirit will tell you what to do and what to say. And if it goes your way, great. If it doesn't, well, we can't win every time. Because everybody on this planet is going through something, so we can't expect that every time we're going to win. But sometimes you have to stand up for yourself. So there will be some type of ending coming in the family sector. And again, family, that's a long, because some people define family differently. Some people might say their dog. Because even like if it's a small dog, it would probably be the 6th house or wherever you see Virgo. A bigger dog may be the 12th house or the 8th house. Now, again, on the space chart, the transit chart, the second house now is where Leo is. But we're also going to define it as first and second house. It's the personality of the day. Leo can be courageous. But when you're dealing with an eclipse, you're dealing with shadows. And even when you're dealing with a new moon, because sometimes a new moon is not seen. So you are going to be dealing with things hidden that you may not have been aware of, or things within yourself. And this is what I'm trying to tell people, just to give you, it might be somebody you work with or that you're around, and you know there's a connection, and they kind of know it's a connection, but it fizzles out for some reason. So you say, oh, you know, it fizzled out, and you're going about your life, and then all of a sudden, in times like this, that person will just come up to you again when you thought it fizzled out. So that's why I said you just have to be ready. And the more you learn to trust in spirit, the less, you know, you worry. Because I know with my twin flame, that power was just unbelievable. And I think I just knew it was going to be BS, which it was, because she just was really, really immature. And I really was at the point, which I'm still kind of that way. Not as much, because I've done more, you know. We're going back now, long time ago. Yeah. Well, you're really going back almost 4 years, 2 to 4 years ago. But I'm still not with the silly stuff. And she was determined to pull me into her hell no matter what. I got neighbors doing the exact same thing. The exact same thing. Determined to pull you into their hell no matter what. And it's so sad because I think some of these people really are possessed. Because I've never seen people so intent on bringing you into some stuff that has nothing to do with you. So sometimes, like I said, I just said earlier, you have to stand up for yourself. And people, you know, when you mean business, people have to know that. And unfortunately, since I've been here, it's been like that on this planet. So each thing is different. So what I'm saying is, when it's that case, either that other person is going to have to grow up in order for you guys to get past it, or it's not going to be a situation because certain things you're just not going to do. And like me, from a viewpoint of a male, I'm not going to keep compromising because that's what I keep trying to tell you. It's the same thing going on with my neighbors. Everybody goes out of their way to give these neighbors a break when they're the ones causing all the problems. At what point are you going to address the problem? And that's the question I'm asking, because we have to keep paying for it. And I got people in my house having the emergency unit resting to save them. But that's why, because all this stuff is flowing our way. And I keep saying that to this person I have to call and voice my grievances, because they're in charge of this whole stuff. So you got to say what you got to say, and if they don't like it, they don't like it. You just got to stop being afraid. Because when people are that ignorant or that bent on causing problems, you don't have to talk to those people anyway. Because it's not like they're helping you out really in any way. They're just standing there doing their best to make your life a living, you know what. And then at your funeral, they'll act like, oh, they're so sad, and they're so glad when they help put you in that grave. So it's things like that. So that's why I said certain things with all that game plan I don't really play. Now, if a person can get their stuff together a little bit, then maybe we could start there. So that's what I'm trying to say is some of the stuff that comes out that's hidden, that's what it is. And it could come out many different ways. Could be good stuff, bad stuff, arguments. You might all of a sudden remember something that you have put deep in your subconscious. Because that's what you're dealing with. 12th house, the moon. Because like I said, that ascended in EP. It's still a 12th house, but they just made it the first house. And when I say they, it's the people that put this natal chart together in the universe. So the Mercury retrograde, that can mean a lot. It can mean communication problems. It can mean things won't work correctly. All kind of things will be happening. People may still be, because I know I walked into work yesterday, and I mean, from the moment I stepped within 10 feet of the door, all kind of hell broke. I didn't even log in yet, and I got people calling me. One female was in like really being really rude and disrespectful. Keep in mind, I just walked in. I haven't even logged in, and there's other people she could have called, but she chose me. But it was just that type of day. So I had to go through that whole day, you know, staying in my little zone, just staying mellow, not overreacting, and just going through it. So that's what Mercury retrograde can mean too. But it can also, like I said, could also mean past life stuff. And when you're dealing with Neptune and Pisces, it can also be your dreams and your subconscious mind. Because like I said, you have to remember, in the body, your twin can be nothing but a pain in the ass, your worst nightmare. But outside of the body, the higher self, that person is showing you love or trying to contact you all the time. That part is almost unbelievably beautiful. But again, you have to be able to deal with all of this. And it's not easy. Because like a person like me, I've been spiritual my whole life. So I've always been in spiritual warfare. And I do believe in earth angels. I do believe there are people on this planet that are sent to help this planet. Because I don't think this planet could make it without those people. That's why if you notice the book of Job, it talks about angels. And that's what Job was. Job was on planet earth helping everybody. Same thing with Joseph. So I believe those people are sent here for a reason. And I think if the earth didn't have those people, I don't think this planet would exist. I think it would be taken over by evil entities or probably self-destruct. So those type of people get it all the time. And they can have no peace. In the book of 2 Corinthians chapter 12, Paul talks about being attacked. He's supernaturally being attacked. And he also dealt with what angels? Acts chapter 9, he met this angel that blinded him and then gave him a mission to serve God. So the Bible is very real. It's not just a silly religious book, or it's not. It's probably one of the highest metaphysical books on the planet, and you can learn much from it. So again, so that can be the first house, but either way, you got Leo coming. You got could be miscommunications, but again, it could still be the universe is telling you to deal with your second house, or deal with your finances and your possessions and your value system. And Mercury might just be making it things in the past that need to be dealt with. So it's telling you to go bold, but wait till after the solar eclipse, because that's what I'm doing. Because I was going to handle some stuff today, which is Thursday. And once I study, because I did a 2-hour video on this already. I just don't know if I'm going to release it or not. But I see I'm going to wait till after. So Leo is in the second house, which is Taurus. And that's her. Sun sign is Taurus, also in her second house. So because I'm looking at her sign, it could be quite explosive at this time. But if you notice, it's similar, like Mercury and the Sun in the second house. And what's unique with my chart, my third house chart, my third house on my natal chart is a lot like this third house to us. Well, to what I was told by Michelle Knight. But she's in Britain, and this is a New York chart, so it's a little different. But either way, like I said, you're going to see a lot of Leo-like behavior. And Leos, it's really about you because the true north node. Now, on a natal chart, the true north node is your life purpose. Now, on a transit chart, the true north node is like the mood of the universe. And it's focusing on, right now, on August 11th at 4:02 a.m., it's focusing on Leo, Taurus energy. So in her second house, finances, possessions, it's going to be a little explosive. But they're telling you to be courageous and strong. And to understand her Venus, you would have to really follow the Venus. And see, it goes right back to the whole fourth house. Which means it could be family concerns, social concerns, other people, helping others. Could even be legal concerns with Libra, but it could also be partner concerns. And you see that Mars, Virgo, in her second house. Mars, Venus, excuse me. You see that Mars, Venus in the second house, but when you follow this Mars, see, it's really at that seventh house, but it's going into the eighth. And the seventh house, again, right now is Capricorn, which could be career or reputation. Capricorns could also be old souls, but you have that Pluto retrograde, which means something's going to be taken away. And you see it again in a relationship. Because I'm actually, when you look at her chart, you see Pluto retrograde again in Libra. So remember, something's ending and something's beginning. See, when I see a chart like this, it could be anything. It could be your job. It could be the relationship. Or she may be in a situation where she may be making money off this particular person. But it's still showing some type of ending. And I do got profiles. I'm working on this person. I have been pounded. It doesn't stop. Like I said, if I told you some of the stuff, you wouldn't even believe it. But like I said, to think there's not an evil, like if you're, because people like to say love and light, and they say stuff like that. I'm a light seed and things like that, light workers and stuff like that. And if you're a Christian, you say, well, I'm a Christian. But whatever you call yourself, there is dark. There is like evil. It doesn't stop. But I've learned that it's actually, if you learn how to use it correctly, use it for your benefit. Because if you respond in the right way, you only get better. Which only makes it tougher for them to overthrow you. Because that's what they're trying to do, kill you, drive you crazy. Especially if you really are a light worker or a real Christian, not just somebody saying like my neighbors. They talk a good talk, but they're pure trash and garbage. And I hate to say that, but you have to sometimes. Even if people get offended. But that's like, you wouldn't want me speaking at your relative's funeral or any type of memorial if you knew I was a big-ass hypocrite. You know I'm a big hypocrite, but I'm going to come around your family and act like I'm a man of God. You wouldn't want nothing to do with me. But it's just that when we say it, oh, how can you be so insensitive, or how can you be so cruel, and blah, blah, blah. So it's just a lot of games that are played on this planet. And sometimes you have to address the situation. You have to. Because it's only going to get worse and worse and worse because they won't address the situation. So it's definitely something going to be being taken away. And that's why, if you notice, that's why Mars is moving. That's why Mars is moving. Now, as she listens to this chart, she should be taking notes. Because she's dealing with a situation like that now. She has two people. Because I might be mentioning their signs as I'm speaking. And that's how you know what I'm talking about. But as you see, Mars is leaving this one person. And I think this one person is like a money source to you in one way or another. But that's changing. Because Pluto retrograde means something gets drastically taken away or drastically changes. And you see Mars moving closer into the 8th house, the soul house, with Aquarius. And that's her moon sign. Did anybody see what I just did? Is anybody listening? I wish I had something I could knock on. Is this thing on? They're almost implying that something, it's like she's dealing with two things. One is sun energy. One is sun energy. And the other one is moon energy. But now this is what you have to understand. I'm not saying sun energy, Leo, Aries, Sagittarius. Or moon energy. In this case, Cancer. But the moon used to rule Pisces. I mean, even on tarot cards. So I'm not saying moon energy, Cancer. So you have to understand what I'm saying. It's almost like they're saying, okay, you've been dealing with your sun sign for a while. And you've been about that money. That's how you've been using your decisions about that money. But now they're kind of pushing you more to the Aquarius age. Because that's the age where really the blood moon. Some people call it the Aquarius age. Some people call it the age of accountability. But that's where they're pushing her. To the moon now. Alrighty. So that alarm went off because I had things to take care of. I had to get done. Now those things are done. So again, but ironically, I know exactly where I left off. I want to thank God for that. Yes, yeah, she's moving. They're moving her out. That's why I said you got to really understand. But I got a lot of respect for this woman. Probably out of anybody I've ever dealt with, I got more respect for her than anybody because she really goes with the process. And a lot of people, they just don't. They there's a reason why you got the universe talking to you. You are in third dimension, but you still got to start to. That's why the Bible talks about not rapture, but ascension and all that. People call it the rapture. But you're ascending, and you're really ascending your vibrations. Because everything you're doing is connected above. As above, so below. So what they're doing in her life, they're beginning to move her out of that one phase where it was more, I'm just going to say second house-ish. And that's her sun sign, Taurus. Well, it was about the, Taurus is more touchy-feely, sensual. Taurus in the 5th house will get caught up in the moment. And see how her 5th house is Leo. So Taurus in the 5th house gets caught up in the moment, and she's got money in the 5th house too. So they'll get caught up in the moment. Like if you go gambling and you just see people spending and they drop money like it doesn't matter. I remember one because I've been mostly in telephone calls most of not all of my career. But a lot of my career has been either telemarketing or telephone research call centers. But now I'm in face-to-face with people. And it's funny how God did it because I thought I was on my last, oh wow, I'm almost out of here. And then God throws me and I'm like, what the heck is he doing? But amazingly, I'm still going. So God always knows what he's doing. That's why I tell people, walk in the spirit. Have a relationship with God. Don't think you know everything. See, the best master teacher is a master student. I've always been a master student. Just like when I'm out here preaching and whatever I do, people would think, oh, he's arrogant. Oh, he's a typical Leo. La 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 la. But if you see me, I take the humble servant stuff. And I don't even let the ego get in check. Even when I could have caught an attitude or something like that, I'll do it sometime for whatever reason. I'm not even worrying about, hey, why is the black guy got to pick up the box and stuff like that? I'm not on that energy no more. I could care less. Then that's why the devil has to mess with you. Then he has to mess with your money because you have to care about the money because bills got to get paid and you got people banging on your door. So he's going to keep you pissed off, but that's his job. Once you realize he's only doing his job, you got to stay focused on what spirit would have you do. So they are definitely pushing her out of that whole sensual, touchy-feely. Not that anything's necessarily wrong with that, but it was just the money aspect, the sensual, touchy-feely, you know, the drama, the Mars, Venus, passive aggressive, you know, really just blowing money. And a lot of times they don't even appreciate it because it comes so easy. So now they're bringing her more into caring about other people, because that's what I see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Well, that's even in the 8th house, but it's still Aquarius. And Aquarius in the 8th house, it has a lot to do with hidden mysteries, but also science and medicine, and a unique way of doing things, even technology, because that's where you see that Uranus. And if you look at the universe, Uranus retrograde is right in Taurus. And Uranus retrograde can mean things that come out of nowhere, but Uranus retrograde also means you go from what you used to be. I mean, you go from what you aren't. So if you used to be quiet, now all of a sudden you're talking. If you used to be quiet, talkative, now you're quiet. If you used to be somewhat of a like really money hungry, it was all about the money, you may just change. And then they also telling you that's where you're going to meet your Juno, the serious relationship. So you're going, but it's still in Taurus though, which is crazy. See how both those Junos are in Taurus? That's crazy. So it could be the same person, just a new way of doing things, because I already covered that with the solar eclipse and the new moon. It's using something from the past to bring it into the present, but maybe you're just doing it a different way. Or maybe she's the Taurus that'll have a serious relationship with that Uranus. But see, Uranus rules Aquarius, because that's what she's moving into, the Aquarius. And Aquarius in the 7th house and the 8th house, and the 8th house is ruled by Scorpio. And then look at her chart. Uranus retrograde in Scorpio in the 8th house. So she may know who these signs are, because I still got to do her other profile, but that's going to take a second to get that done. But this will be enough for her to get focused. And the funny thing is, this has been going on for a while. Because when I first started doing her chart, I was a little upset. Because I said, oh man, you know, I'm going to sound like these people on YouTube that rip people off for their money. Because it was all about relationships. You know, and I was like, oh, it sounded too much. But the more I dug into it, the more I could tell it really was about relationships. And she even told me it is. But yeah, you're definitely going out of one into another one. However it is, different person or the same person, a different way of looking at life. She knows that. And this Pluto retrograde is in a relationship sector. And look at her relationship sector. There's a vertex cross. And even in the universe's 6th house, you have Sagittarius, because Virgo is ruled by the 6th house. And Vesta works with Virgo to be more spiritual. Sagittarius energy, like I said, is just more mature. It's also the centaur, the healer. It can deal with long distance travel or higher courts or higher authority or class, having a lot of class or culture, philosophy and religion. But it's a little bit more. Even Raguel, the Archangel card, is the Sagittarius, and he's a friend with God. So that Sagittarius is like noting friendship. I had a friend, Sagittarius. We were friends for a very long time. And ironically, last time I talked to that person on Facebook, they actually remembered everything from 1994 when we first met, and that was crazy. Because if you knew how many medical operations this person has been through, there's nowhere in the world that her memory should be that good. It shocked me that she remembered all that stuff. Because she was talking to me. I said, you don't remember it. I said, you've had so many operations, you don't remember. She said, I remember. I was like, nah, it's no way she could remember. And then she started talking about all that stuff we used to do. I said, oh man, she really remembers. This is crazy. So that's that power of Sagittarius. And it's the healer. And that's why it was a centaur. It was a centurion that stabbed Jesus with the spear. And that's what the symbol is for Sagittarius. And when he stabbed Jesus with the spear on the cross, water and blood came out. Because that was the mixing, the becoming a oneness with God. And that was the healing that took place because of the wound at the cross. That's why you want to understand metaphysics and spiritual stuff. And you want to deal with people that know what they're talking about. If you really want to know. All right. So that is about as much as we can go through. And you just see Pisces because you're going to be getting all this from Neptune in the dreams. And on her chart, Neptune is working with that Sagittarius energy. See, it's just the healing. It's helping people become more mature. Because like I said, in my lifetime, I haven't had a lot of females do that. But I mean, I had one female come up, you know, she was really out of pocket. But she actually apologized. And me and her became best friends. Like, she literally was my best friend to hang out with her and everything. But she just apologized. Like, sometimes just apologize. Stop all that arrogance. Like, I understand where it comes from. Like, women will always be closer to God. And that's why they just assume, oh, I'm supposed to have it this way. This is the way it's supposed to be. And you just make a gulf that gets wider and wider. Like I said, all these people coming for me, I just don't care no more. Because usually it's always fake. It's always false. And it's always bullshit. And I come with proof all the time. But it's getting so bad now. No matter how much proof I come with, they still continue on that course. But I just stay prayed up. I keep working with my archangels. And, you know, I'm just a firm believer in karma. So it may look like they get a pass, but you'd be surprised how the universe works. And people be so upset when, say, somebody gets sick or somebody dies or whatever. But look at the kind of karma you're building. Especially, like, y'all got to remember, I'm an ordained minister. I could care less what people think about me. I'm an ordained minister. My whole life has been service of other people. But I know how to fight because I've had to. So when people pick that fight, it may look like you're winning, but you're actually just reaping up bad karma. And when you do face that judgment seat, whatever it is, hell or karma or whatever, you're going to have to carry that weight. Especially the phonies that be in these religious places talking about being a good neighbor and God and Jesus and Jehovah and on and on and on. And then they come out and do whatever the F they want to. You're going to pay for that. You're cursing yourself. That's like me saying, oh, I know you're a man of God, but then I keep on doing what I want to. You shouldn't have never said that. You cursed yourself. So like I said, you see in the 11th house and even 17 degrees on the transit where her Juno is, that's like karma. 17 can be the number of karma. It's also the number of the Magi priest, believe it or not. And if you notice, there's a few 17s on this transit chart. And then where the Juno is on the transit chart is 22. Which can be the twin flame number of 11, 11, 11, 11, 11. Can also be the angel number or the number 4. And it can also be the number of God's people, 22. So with the Aquarius energy, it doesn't appear to be as argumentative. Because like I said, it just seems like one relationship is really more about business and finance. And it could be feelings involved. Because like I said, no matter how much people talk, there's no way you're going to be getting intimate with people and not having some type of feelings for them. Because we're just designed. And people can say, oh, because one person called me one time, and she's a known porn star. And she would tell me, oh, it's just business and blah, blah. I have no feelings for none of those people. I don't even hang out with those people when it's all over with and stuff. But you're going to have some type of, because it's just designed that way. But that doesn't mean you necessarily want to be with the person, like the person and all that. So Venus is giving her an opportunity, it looks like, for a different relationship on a space chart or a different type. And even in medium Coeli, it's Aries. I mean, yeah, let me do that again. Give me 1 second. Yeah. So the 10th house is a career. Medium Coeli can mean the 10th house, but I don't like to count it the 10th house if it's not in the 10th house. But what I'm trying to say is, and sometimes your 10th house can be your sole purpose as well. Like medium Coeli can also be your true north node. They work together. And the person you're dating, for whatever reason, like Archangel Chamuel, who has Taurus energy, he says, oh, you have a new career. Your blessed life purpose is causing a career change. But sometimes that career change it doesn't necessarily have to be a literal job. It could be the person you're going to meet, your soulmate, or whatever the case might be. Because all this has to do with your life purpose. And that's why I said again, that's why I met my twin at my job. And then my boss and my former boss looks a lot like my new boss, to a certain degree. So all this stuff is you can't get past it as much as you like. Sometimes you would just like to get past it, but you can't. This is all. I think the Matrix movie did a great job of trying to show you. It's almost like you became a component or a character in a simulated Matrix, like on some high-tech computer stuff. And that's just scary when you think about it, because you say, well, who designed the computer system? Did God design it? Is God a computer? And you watch all this, like you watch all that stuff like the Wizard of Oz, and it was really some little guy behind some mirror with some type of high-tech computer system. And then Jodie Foster did a movie where she actually went to see God, and they let her see essentially how the universe works. She didn't get to see God though. And she was trying to talk to the guy, and the guy just kept saying that's the way it's always been done. This is the way it is. So you can build all these antennas, you could try to figure it out, but at the end of the day, this is the way it's always been, and it's the way it's always going to be, and nobody's really going to come and show you all the answers. So that's interesting. So I said it's healing of relationships on a space chart, because you have Virgo in the 3rd house. So Virgo's trying to heal that Gemini energy, which is immature. And then the Sagittarius is working with Virgo in the 6th house again to make them more mature. So Aquarius is still going to be having a lot of psychic information being driven to Aquarius, as well as Scorpio and Aquarius are working together because Uranus rules Aquarius. So this is all kind of stuff coming from the psychic realm. Twin flames. It's literally a period of time with the solar eclipse that almost anything could happen, including finances, including debt, including court, anything that's in that 8th house. So Taurus will be connecting more with Aquarius and Scorpio. And what's funny, because Scorpio rules the 8th house, so Scorpio is shared resources or other people's money. So it just seemed like the Aquarius energy is more, not necessarily as selfish as the energy you see in her 2nd house. And the universe is making it just as aggressive. It's actually like balancing out. It's almost like checks and balances. Because they made sure the moon is in Aquarius, her moon sign, and the sun sign was in Taurus. But really Taurus with Mars. You could say Venus too if you want to. Her sun sign. Alright. So this will conclude this video. If anybody else is interested in any of the services, we do anything that has to do with astrology, natal charts, relationships. Some people use this information for business ideas. Anything that's considered paranormal or the supernatural, we do. We do offer phone consultation for those who feel they need it. If you don't have the services offered and priceless, you can contact me and get it as well. I think a lot of this information is right there in the description box. Thank you.